Welcome back to another episode here on the Heart and Hustle podcast. Our next guest says, I didn't plan to work with kids. I didn't even like kids, but God had a different playbook and He kept putting them in my path until I just couldn't ignore it. So, welcome in, ma'am. Tamikio, is that correct?
Tamakio.
Tamakio. I knew I was going to butcher this, even though I said it right the first time. I should definitely practice this. No, I appreciate you joining in this early morning on a Wednesday. This might not air on a Wednesday, but this is what we're doing on a Wednesday morning, letting you guys know that before we clock in and before we get into the next chapter of our day, we're having good conversation with other leaders. And I love this, man. Take me back. What was the one emotional toll of doing? You started actually doing HIV/AIDS work for years, and
Now,
how
I
did that kind
actually
of
started
shape?
off in pain management.
Pain management, and
Pain
then
management.
okay,
Then
so take me
HIV.
there, take me there. How do you get from that, from pain management, and on that journey to now you're doing ABA work?
Well, I was working in pain management for 14 years in Michigan. And then moved to the Atlanta area and continued because pain management, I loved it. I moved from just working as a front desk receptionist to doing epidural. So I kind of like got my foot in the door and kind of elevated up in the pain management field. But once I kind of mastered that, I'm like, I need to do something else. I wanted to do something else.
Hmm.
So I went into HIV and AIDS, which is something on the other side of
Yeah,
the medical field, something I've never dealt with before. And it helped me a lot because, like a lot of other people who really didn't know a whole lot about HIV and AIDS, it kind of opened up for me, like what HIV and AIDS, really is. How can you, attract it? Things of that nature. We really didn't know those things, so it really gave me an insight, and I gained a love for it because I gained relationships with the patients because you see them every 3 months, so you kind of get to know them. And me being the person I am, I have everybody open up. I leave a space for people to open up to
yeah,
me. So
yeah,
with them having HIV, there was some denials. People didn't want to express it to them families. They didn't want to put it out in the open. And I would always advocate for them and let them know, like, hey, it's okay. You have this. It's not going to keep you from living your everyday life. Just take your medications and you'll be able to live your life like everybody else. um
hmm,
but it became very emotional after a while, gaining all these relationships, and then something takes a turn for the worse, and then they're no longer here, and that takes a toll on you.
yeah.
um so after 6 years of that, it was God telling me that I had to go, because I probably would have stayed longer, but
Yeah.
I was destined for another path. So I wanted to do something else on my own, and I tried to go into um starting another healthcare business. That didn't work out. It didn't
You
work out.
before you started the one that you have today, you were starting a different. Okay.
Yes, yeah, and it didn't. I want to do a healthcare staffing agency, but it was after COVID. So many hospitals had already been contracted out. It was very, very difficult. I'm riding around Georgia trying to get contracts. It was really,
So
really
you were doing
hard.
it.
Yes.
Well, okay, okay. I love this. I love this because there's so many lessons learned. Like I've had failed businesses, and at the moment when you fail and you gotta like kind of give up in a sense, it hurts. Was this your first business that you had to close after starting?
Yeah.
Okay, so it hurts. I remember my
It,
first business.
but you know what? It really did not hurt me because I really wasn't looking at. I'm like, this is something that, okay, this is something that I want to do.
Uh-huh.
However, it may not be what is for me. There might be something
Okay.
else for me. So it really didn't. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, it didn't work out. Let me go find something else. However, before I can go find something else, it found me.
Love
Um,
it.
I just up out the blue get a call from this guy who just started a franchise with a ABA center, and he was looking for office managers. And I'm questioning, like, how did you even get my information? Because I didn't apply for a job for anything. Um, and then once I decided to go ahead and do the interview. I said, okay, let me do the interview. I've already had office manager experience. it'll be a walk in the park for me. So, I'll go ahead and do it. I did my first interview and he was like, I didn't even have to interview you because you answered all of my questions before I even, asked my questions. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, if you have it, you have it. If you have the knowledge, you have the knowledge. In healthcare, or especially when it comes to the admin side of healthcare, everything is pretty much the same. It's just you're in a different specialty. So you might have to change stuff up a little bit. So I did my second. He asked me to do a second interview. I did my second interview with him and the corporate office in Texas. They they loved me. However, they sent me an email saying that they chose somebody else. Okay, fine. Well, that is not for me. You chose somebody else. But then turned around 4 hours later, and I get a phone call and say, you know what? No, scratch that. We need you. Would you accept the offer? And I said, sure, I'll accept the offer. And so he went and he had already told me about the business, him just going buying into the franchise. So he really didn't have any healthcare background at all. He was working in somewhere
Yeah.
in corporate America or whatnot. And I decided to take that on. When I started, like literally, his office had nothing. It was an empty space. He had absolutely nothing. So I said, okay, no worries. Let me do it. So I just kind of pushed him out the way and kind of told him, like, hey, you need to do this. This is what you need to have. You have to have this to stay appliance with the HIPAA laws, just trying to guide him in a way. After a while, I think he just was like, yeah, Tamakio has it. I'm just gonna let her do her thing. And that's what I did. I kind of just did my thing. I helped with his marketing. I helped
Do
on
you think, real quick, do you think that the journey of what you were doing in the HIV/AIDS office, what you were doing on that pain management, was really leading you up? I mean, even starting your own business. Do you feel like all that was what was getting you prepared for this moment and then on?
I really do. I really do think that pain management was my foot in the door because I've always been an empath and a helper. So that's always been my nature of helping
Hmm.
other people. So that was the footstep for me in the healthcare industry. And then I
Hmm.
just gradually started moving my way up. And now I have my own ABA center.
Let's go. Yeah.
Now I never thought I would have my my own ABA center, but as I was helping him build his own, I started seeing a lot of different things. Like I'm sitting up here making this, making a way for everybody,
Hmm.
but I'm still sitting here stagnant as an office manager.
Yeah.
I know. And he told me when I told well after he started seeing me do a lot of different things because I take initiative. Like I don't wait for nobody to do nothing. I
I
plan
love it.
out everything. Like, and so he just let me go. And after a while, he's like, I can see you owning your own ABA center. I said, I can see myself owning my own ABA center too. But guess what? I don't have the money to own an ABA center. So I'm just going, if it happens for me, it happens for me. If it's not, this is just where I'm gonna be. However, he was like, but I remember when you did your interview, I asked, what was your goal? What was your goal? Like what was your and your response to me was not to work for somebody. That has always been
Wow.
my goal. Nobody wants to work for, especially when you know your value and what you
You
bring
know
to
your
the
worth.
table.
Yeah, you know your worth. Yeah, yeah.
And you don't want to continue to work for somebody. You putting all your energy into somebody else's business, making them rich and letting them flourish. Meanwhile, you're sitting stagnant
Hmm.
and just passing by, just making a way to live. Like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Not when I know that I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do way more.
Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying the podcast, we first want to say thank you. And we also just want to give you a little insight of what we're up to at Francis. Some don't even realize that we're working with organizations to help them use AI to create that real human communication experiences, whether that's actually supporting your families, those patients, or the entire community. We're actually creating tech that connects. Check it out, Francis.ai. That you mentioned that is kind of the same scenario I was in, right? Like we go to corporate where I can tell that you have high work ethics, and that doesn't it's not found often these days. So when you find someone like that, yeah, it's like, man, this person is so good, but we don't feel valued at times,
Mm-mm.
right? Like, so that starts to creep in our brain, like, man, why am I stressing over somebody else's problem? And financially, I'm still living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
But without me, this place don't run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just really that.
And that's exactly what it was. When I wasn't
Mhm.
there, I heard it from the clients, the parents. I heard it from the staff. Like, oh, it was this, and I'm like, I can't even. Can I go to the bathroom for 15 minutes without something happening? But that's exactly how it was,
Yeah.
so I knew that if I ever left, that it was going, it was going to be chaos, and I didn't want it to be chaos. So I kind of over exhilarated myself when it came
Mhm.
to the office in general. Like I've always over exhilarated myself, but because I didn't want to see anything fail. I don't like to see nobody fail, so I
Right.
kind of overextend myself a lot. So a lot of hours. I always took work home.
Mhm.
It was always something, like I was always working 24/7. And I'm like, if I'm working 24/7, why not have my own to work 24/7 so I can actually see something coming out? I feel like the world has opened up for me in so many ways since I actually took a step back from actually working for somebody else,
Well,
and actually
I
putting.
ask you, actually, what did that moment teach you? Like building somebody else's business about what not to do when you build your own? Because there's also learning. Like I feel like through this journey, and you could probably testify to this, is that through this journey there were so many learning lessons, not
Mm-hmm.
losses, right? There was
Mm-hmm.
so many lessons that today you still hold on to that
Mm-hmm.
allowed you to be where you're at today. What did you learn from helping that individual build theirs that you said, you know what, this is what I would not do while I'm building mine?
The biggest thing that I've learned, and I've said it to I don't know how many people, is everybody is not meant to be a owner. Everybody is not meant to be an owner.
Yeah.
Ownership comes with a lot of responsibility. And if you can't handle those responsibilities, then it is not for you. It is not just you showing up and showing your face. You are the person who is building your business. Like that is your business. That
Hmm.
is your bread and butter. If you can't sustain that image of your company, then it's not going to work out for you.
Hmm.
You're gonna go
Do you,
broke. You're
do you
gonna
think it was more of a leadership thing? Like
absolutely.
just not good leadership. Got it.
Absolutely. If you don't have
Yeah.
leadership skills, because you are the leader, you
Yeah.
are you're up here. You're on the hierarchy of your business. Like it starts from the top and goes
Yeah.
down. And if you as a manager or as an owner cannot sustain that image, it is not going to work for you. So you definitely need
Yeah.
leadership skills, which they lacked.
Yeah. Now, I always tell clients a lot of times when I can see that they're in their own way and they're in
Mm-hmm.
the way of others, it's like until you understand how to be a leader or hire someone that can do that and you just become the financial partner in this situation, you'll never see it move forward.
Yeah,
Because it is that. It's that people work for people ideally. Yeah,
yeah,
we work for paychecks, but I know a lot of people that will go do a job for a little bit less money because the leadership is good.
yeah,
Right? And you heard that time and time again.
yeah.
Like when people's like, "Man, I love to come and work when you're at work."
Mm-hmm.
That speaks volume.
It
You
speaks
know,
a
like,
lot
wait a
of
minute.
volume. I
I'm
couldn't
not
keep
even the
my
top
staff
dog
out of
here.
my office.
That's
They would
good.
leave for nothing.
Yeah, that's good. Okay,
They-
okay. So let's get to the ABA work. That's why this is why we're here, right?
yeah,
Now you're doing ABA work. Um, and most people enter through education or psychology, and you just came from pain management. What did you see in that first ABA call that made you say, "Oh no, I'm in"? Because this was something completely different for you.
the growth of the children. Because I love to see people do better and I love to see growth. Just watching the kids come in as a nonverbal into saying a couple of words to sentences is
Mhm.
joyful. Like just to see it, because people feel like that these kids are incapable of doing any and everything. When actually they are the smartest and most intelligent kids that I have come across. Um, so and see and helping the parents, that was another thing, because a lot of the parents who I've encountered new to autism, never
Hmm.
really had any family members or anything that had that were autistic, really did not know what to do. They didn't know what to do. But I
Hmm.
kind of opened up a safe space for them to express that, and kind of give them, let them know, like, I'm holding your hand in this. Like, we're gonna get through this together, and we're gonna try to
Hmm.
figure out how it is. It's more to me than what the BCBAs do, the behavior analysts. Their job is to come up with treatment plans and goals for
Yeah.
these kids. However, they can't go any further outside of that. However, I can. I can help advocate. I can help try to give you some, at least a little bit of peace, to knowing that your child is, it might, I they are not incapable of doing this. It's just a little setback. But we're gonna get them back on track. We're gonna get them to where they
Hmm.
need to be. And they need that sometimes. They need that a lot of times. Like
Did you grow
all
up
the
like
parents
this?
that I've come across.
Did you grow up with this, like wanting to give back, pouring into others? Because you kind of lived your whole life, at least from some of the jobs you're telling me, is to help others. Like, where did that come from?
I'm a cancer.
Wait a
I'm
minute,
a
I'm an Aries
nurturer.
and I'll do it too.
I'm a nurturer. I always have the mommy feel. Like
Got it,
I
got it, got it,
I don't know. I've always been
got it.
I've always been that. Like, I used to get my happiness off of other people's happiness. Didn't
Yeah,
care a whole lot about my own. As long as somebody else over there was happy, it was fine by me. It wasn't until I got a little bit, I had to grow into that.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
about
yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, that's when I finally started saying, like, "Hey, Tamakio, you need to start thinking about you." Um, but for the most part, just seeing other people like happy and getting what
Yeah.
they want, it made me happy. So I've always extended myself to any and if I still do it. I
I was
st-
gonna say, you're still that person.
I'm
That is
still
so
that
funny you said
person,
that.
but now I do have boundaries.
Correct. Okay,
Before I
why
did
do those
not.
boundaries? Yes, yes. I hear you. I was that person that same. I just said yes to everything and realizing that I had to learn how to say no because it was killing me, right?
And
Like it
it's
was.
hard to say no. It's hard to say no,
Mhm.
especially if it's coming if it's towards somebody that you really care about,
Yeah.
close family, things like that. It's hard to say no.
Mhm.
Then you start feeling like, well, I can't do this.
What? Okay. What made you want to say no though? I'll share mine after you share yours. What made you want to say, you know what? Because I used to think it was a little selfish, but I'm like, no, I gotta help myself. Like, there's no way
Yeah.
that I'm helping to pour into others when I'm empty.
I got tired of getting the short end of the stick every time.
Mm.
I'm always extending myself without nobody asking questions. But however, nobody helps me. Nobody
Yeah.
asks me for if I need anything. Nobody asks me how I'm doing. Nobody.
Yeah.
So I had to really take a look and say, wait a minute. Yeah, no, I need this. I need to set a boundary of when and when I can and when I cannot give to somebody else, because I have to
Mhm.
take care of my. I just went through a whole little thing
I
with
hear you.
a whole nother BCBA not too long ago. She's trying to start her own business, and I was just giving, 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 giving. And after a while, I said, you know what? No, ma'am, because I worked so hard to build what I'm building just to give it away to you. You're showing me that you really don't have any initiative of what this is going on when I really do have a purpose of this business. So you just want me to give you what I have. I don't care
Yeah.
what dollar you say you will pay me. All money is not good money. Because
Mm.
what are you
Come
actually
on, man.
doing with that? What are you actually doing what I worked hard to give you?
Yeah.
No. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that because that is a lot of times where we are. God has given us this spirit of giving back, like helping others, and I think that we had to learn. Okay, continue to do that, but understand where you put your time,
Mm-hmm.
because time is very valuable. And I think once I became a father, that I realized, wait, time is very valuable. Because I was saying yes, and believe me, my wife also says it. Like, yo, you got to stop saying yes to everything. Like, I'll say yes to my neighbor, time and time again, and she's like, yo, they keep knocking on the door now looking for you. Like, can you please stop? Because the next time I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna let them know you are not available. And I'm like, geez. But it is that. It's because we say yes so much and then we do get burned. And then
Mm-hmm.
we do feel like, man, like I'm giving somebody my all and they don't reciprocate that back to me.
Mm-mm.
Like as you mentioned, I had to work for this. There were sleepless nights. There was the times I was crying. There was all this, and you just don't like you don't appreciate it. I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you don't appreciate it. And when someone does not appreciate something, it bothers me. Knowing that I'm pouring into you and you're not utilizing it and there's still the same excuses, that
Mm-hmm.
bothers me
Mm-hmm.
because I'm giving you the playbook. What are you doing with it? As you
Yep.
mentioned, I don't care about the money. If you're not going to execute the work that I'm giving you, the playbook, I don't want to do business with you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I also was finding friends, maybe you were experiencing this a little bit, friends that will call you and give you their drama and give you all these negativities was happening, or even sometimes dim your light, like, girl, what is you doing? All this. At least I was experiencing some of that on my end. And I had to realize, you know what, I gotta stop picking up the phone as much to some of those friends I was talking to often. Because the dimming of my light, or you don't even ask me how I'm doing. Like, I'm here struggling. And all you want to tell me is about your drama at your house.
Yes.
You
You
know?
don't never hear from anybody unless they're going through something. They do not call you to see how you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it
Right.
is. So yeah, you have to set boundaries for yourself.
Okay,
And I
okay. So this is
do.
a, just yeah, I love it. I love that you get there, and it's only getting better. And because of that, I think is what allowed those doors to open, right? I think once you take ownership of that, the opportunities come and present
No,
themselves. What are the
absolutely.
opportunities?
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes people can block you from your blessings.
Mm,
And when you
mm-hmm,
have
mm-hmm.
those people around you who don't have the same mindset, the same goals, and the same aspirations as you, it's going to hinder you from getting to being your full potential. And I will not have it. Like I won't have
Yeah.
it. So I'm very even though I say that I'm extroverted, but I'm really introverted when it comes to a lot. I'm a little bit of both
I say
because
the
I know
same.
if I
No worries.
feel like it's something that's going to stop me or hinder me, I will remove you. I will forget that you exist. However, I can be the light of the party if I need to
Yeah.
be.
That's funny. No, I love it, and I think that this also opened up doors for you. We haven't got into it, but you mentioned there was no way that I was going to start a business financially. Like you had the mindset, but we didn't have the finances, right? But then someone's come along and says, "Wait a minute, I will invest into this vision of because I believe in you." And they
Mm-hmm,
believed in your work. They understood how hard you work, and they knew that you weren't going to take it for granted. What
mm-hmm.
did that moment really unlock in you when someone says, "Hey, I see your worth." Not a lot of times people will see our worth. Someone says, "I see your worth, and I want to invest into this dream of yours." What does that make you feel? What does that unlock?
At that point, that's when I started actually feeling valued. Like somebody's actually seeing me, seeing what I'm
Wow.
capable of doing, seeing how I'm making things better, and not like you said, not dimming my light.
Yeah.
So I felt exhilarated until I didn't. Because coming into this or starting your own business, you are gonna come through all kinds of rocks thrown at you. Like it doesn't come easy. So
Yeah.
even though I did get the opportunity, it didn't work out the way that it was supposed to, the way that it was planned, the way that
Mm.
my business plan had went for it to go.
Okay. So you had to pivot.
Very much so. To where I almost lost my business.
Wow.
I
But you
almost
kept
lost my
going.
business.
You can't go. See, there's something special about you. Like that's why I love to talk to you the first time because I always like to say that the entrepreneurship first is lonely, right? It is not for the weak.
No, it is not.
It takes failing forward, right? I've had the opportunity to do multiple businesses, and it does become easier every single time because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, what did I learn from here, right? That's how I looked
Mm-hmm.
at it. Okay, what am I learning? Like I get it. I had to close the doors, and I've to some brick and mortars. What did I learn? is the most important thing. And that's in a relationship when you have to leave somebody. What did I learn? This gentleman that was investing, I believe it was a gentleman that invested and didn't go, okay, what did I learn? Right? There was always something to learn. What was the learning lesson in that moment when you realized someone believed in me, but maybe it wasn't to my benefit?
That everybody is not looking at your vision the way that you look at your vision. They were looking at it in a money aspect of what they can kind of get up out the
The
situation.
return.
As I
Yeah.
was doing it because it's a passion for me because I want to actually help, and I thought that that's what they wanted as well because they had an autistic child who was in ABA, but
Mm.
that wasn't the case. They were just trying to manipulate me being a woman. They felt that they can get over on me and do all this other type of stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not going to happen, especially when I work all night long. Every piece of paper that I have in my business, I did it with my own hand. You are not going to take this away from me. And it was just things that were popping up that was I wasn't aware of. Being that I did not come in with money, they were helping me financially, so I was putting my trust in them financially, but they didn't stand up. They didn't hold their end of the bargain. That's what
Mm.
almost left me to leave, to lose my business. I had a whole 9,000 square foot building that I end up losing, which
Wow.
had me having kids, and I'm like, I can't just not have, can't stop business. Like I cannot just tell the parents to go find somewhere else to go because I did get a text message saying you need to tell your parents to go find somewhere else to go. That's not an option for me.
Hmm.
So with the help of my staff and everybody else around me, they're like, it's okay, you'll figure it out. And the way that what I did to kind of make myself feel better, I ended up opening my home. I renovated my home. I did the garage all over as a classroom. I added equipment out in the backyard. I talked to my parents who were really supportive of what I was doing, and they had my back. And they were like, we support you. Whatever you choose to do, we have your back." So that's what I ended up doing. I transferred service from that 9,000 square foot building to my house. And did that for a couple of months, and it just so happened I'm like, okay, it's just till I can find another location. I got knocked out a couple of times, people, because I'm very transparent first and foremost. So anywhere I go, I let them know, like, hey, this is what happened with me. I don't want
Right.
nobody coming in blind when it comes to any kind of communication with me or any kind of relationship with me. You know, I was given the opportunity to get another location just for him to turn around and say, yeah, no, I decided not to after I paid this whole big deposit. So now I'm back at square one. At first, I did kind of feel a little bit defeated because I'm like, now what am I going to do if everybody keeps closing the door on me? They saw what I was doing. They saw it on paper. They heard it from me verbally. I let them know that I was doing services from my home, to allow these kids to not have a gap in the care because I didn't want them to be set back. So that was
Hmm.
my only other option. I could have moved it to their home where, just had in-home services. But however, I feel like everybody does not benefit from in-home services. They're in a familiar place. So they're not going to get their full potential of ABA in their home. So I opened up my home so that the kids can remain in a group setting and have those social skills and things, um, together. And then all of a sudden, I just kept looking. I kept going. I didn't let nothing stop me. I kept going, finding locations, kept going to look. And I'm like, at this point, if it's for me, it's going to be for me. God is going to make a way. I just have to sit back and be patient. And it worked out the way that it was supposed to because we were only in my home for the summer. So it's like a summer camp. And then I get another business. I got a whole nother business, a whole
I
nother
love it.
center, so it worked out the way that it was supposed to be. I felt like the things that happened the way that it was supposed to
Yeah.
be to remove that negative energy out of my way that was preventing me from being my greater self because they
And to
would not
test your
have.
faith. And to test your faith. What are you
Yeah,
going to give up? Or will
yeah.
you?
I
Or
mean,
you?
there's no, if you don't have a test, you don't have a testimony.
Oh, come on now. You just said it. Come on. I love that. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Oh, that was so good. You dropped that one. That's so good. I just love that you just that never giving up, right? Like, how
No.
many kids do you serve now? Do you see?
Right now I have what I the 20. I have 25 kids. I have so many more kids coming in. I'm probably gonna end up getting another location soon. Because since I had my grand opening
Hmm.
of the new location back in September, the councilman of Stockbridge has been phenomenal. He's been posting me all over social media, and I've been getting so much exposure since then, a lot.
Love it.
More so from me going out and meeting other people. I had kind
Yeah.
of pulled back from marketing as when I was doing in home, because I was trying to figure out how I'm going to find another location. So I pulled back from marketing and gaining partnerships with other providers and things of that nature. But now I'm getting to the point now where I can actually start getting back out again. But that kind of helped me too, because a lot of people actually see that I'm in the city of Stockbridge. I'm in a downtown area on Main Street. I'm the only ABA center downtown on Main Street, and it's accessible for a lot of people around me, which they did not have. So I'm like, it was
Mhm.
meant for me to be in the location that I was at,
Yeah.
because the people around me have been more than accommodating, and I mean, they just been supportive
I
all
love
the
that.
way around.
I love that. And you created something special as well. And actually, I've been telling people about this 'cause I thought it was pretty cool. You created a parent night, right? Before you had
Parent,
your own center as well. What made you care that much that early?
seeing the parents, seeing the parents, they feel like they don't have an outlet and they don't
Mhm.
have the resources to kind of support them going through this autistic journey. Like they just don't feel it. So it gives them an outlet. They're with their children all
Yeah.
the time. They're with them all the time. Sometimes you have to be able to self reflect. You have to have me time, and that not just anybody, not just the parents who have children that are on the spectrum, but people in life. We have to step back and be able to have some self care and self reflect. And so parent night kind of gives the parents opportunity of meeting other parents who has children on the spectrum, maybe that they can shed the light in each other's life of they're doing something differently, what's helping them out, or vice versa. I have a conversation, because they don't get to do that often, and people really don't talk about it. They don't talk
Yeah.
about it. They deal with the situation at home, and then they leave it as that. So parent night gives them an opportunity to do that for 2 hours. The last Friday of every month, they're able to have that community feel that I'm not in
Mhm.
this alone. There are other people out here that are trying to get the same things that I'm trying to get, and maybe we can come together as a collective and do something else. Do make it a big thing for the autism community, because it's not. It's not
Yeah.
autism with a lot of ABA clinics I've heard in general. Their focus is really not on actually helping the families. Their idea of helping the family is getting them into ABA. Why? So that they can gain revenue off of that child. I feel like if your real purpose is to actually help somebody, you're going to overextend yourself to go to bigger heights to
Yeah.
try to help them, because they're the parents are the ones that are dealing with these kids outside of that 8 hours or 6 hours that those kids have for ABA. They have to be able to function and be able to maneuver around those children. They have to be able to deal with those behaviors that those
Mhm.
kids have, and they don't know how to do that if they don't have the support to kind of give them a push and saying, "Hey, you can do this. You're not alone. You have support. All you have to do is ask for it."
Yeah. And you mentioned extending your services. I mean, there's times I think you mentioned where you're doing months. You offer free months, right? Like
Yeah,
that's how much you truly care.
I
It's
have.
not about the money.
I'm insurance based. Like my parents don't. They don't pay cash for their services. It's by the insurance companies. However, sometimes they have to get authorized. Those authorizations don't come in for a whole month. like with Medicaid, for a child to fully get into service is a whole 6 months. No, I'm sorry,
Wow.
a whole 60 days. A whole 60 days before we get an authorization for to provide treatment for those kids. And they're in my care already. So I don't want to stop the care so
Mhm.
that they can go back to the behaviors that they were having before. I chose to continue to do the services so that we can keep. I was like, I can go back and back. I can go back and build. I can go back and build. My BCBA said, you're a good woman, because any other ABA center would tell them absolutely no. We'll come
Yeah.
back to this when we get the authorization. I feel like I'll be failing them.
You've done so much work. I mean, you've done work that what most PhDs couldn't, right? Like, and I can imagine that there was some noise coming with that as well. Like, how did you shut out the noise of not enough degrees? Because believe it or not, okay, I don't have a degree. I'm probably like two classes away from an associate's degree. But I
Mm-hmm.
realized very early on in my life, when I was running a store at 19 years old, like, wow, I didn't need school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't get me wrong. I went to school, and I just feel like school teaches you black and white.
Yes,
School does not prepare you to deal with
it does
scenarios and
not.
people. So I used to always get so upset when I seen someone come with a bachelor's degree come in, and I'm running circles around this person because this person didn't have people skills. You can't
That's
teach that.
that's exactly what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. In the HIV, I started off as the patient registrar, the face of the clinic, because that's I'm the first face that people see when they
Yep.
come up in the clinic. However, because I've already had medical experience, everybody else around me really not so much. And not only that, I was a medical assistant as well.
Wow.
Um, so there are social caseworkers around me.
Hmm.
I had an office manager who had been an office manager for I don't know how long. However, she didn't do anything. She didn't work. She didn't know a whole lot. I'm like, I don't even know how she lasted as long as she did. But me, I kind of being the I'm a natural born leader. Period. That's just me. I hate to toot my own horn, but that's just me. I'm not gonna wait for nobody to do nothing. If I see something wrong, I'm gonna go ahead and push forward. So I kind of handled um the office. I kind of maneuvered the patients through the office and let them know, like, hey, this is what these people can help you here. These people can help you here. It got to the point where the corporate office was actually calling me to have me do stuff that the manager was supposed to be doing. And then after a while, I got fed up and I said, no, y'all not going to keep calling me, asking me to do stuff when you have this lady sit down here in this big old office doing nothing.
Yep.
So she ended up leaving. We ended up getting some more office managers in. It wasn't, I had applied for the manager position 3 times. They denied me all 3 times because I did not have a degree. So I said, okay, I responded to them and gracefully. They was like, the way that you responded was so graceful. We never would have thought, we thought you were going to crash out for what? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Like,
Yeah.
whatever, if it's for me, it's going to come to me. I don't have to work hard for it. It's going to sit right on my lap. It wasn't until the last manager they hired. She came in. She was literally there for maybe 2, 3 weeks, and she called me when she left, and she said, at her exit interview, they asked, her questions about the operations and things of that nature.
Hmm.
And she said, I told them, I don't understand why you will not give Tamakio the office manager position. This girl knows this place like the back of her hands. You don't have to ask. We have to go to her for her to guide us in the way. Why would you not give it to her?
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, they said I don't have a degree. I don't have a degree. I didn't go and sit in the classroom for 4 years, to get. So I'm not worth giving the opportunity to get that position.
Lord, Lord.
However, they called me 3 days later at 8:30 at night and said, Tamakio, I know that you applied for the office manager position and that we couldn't give it to you because you didn't have a degree, but we decided to expand our horizons, because you are the person that's down there taking care of that office, and you are the go-to person. We're constantly contacting you. Would you like to be the office manager? Everything in me started to say, forget you. No, because when I applied, you told me no, not once, but 3 times.
Hmm.
Now you want to give it to me. But I appreciate that office manager for actually seeing it. They saw what I was capable of doing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You saw everything that I was capable of doing, but you just decided to shun me out. But she really used her voice to advocate for me and get me in that position. And that's how I got there.
I love that. I love. There's always that one person in
It's
your life.
always all it
Yeah,
needs to be is one who is
that
really gonna
one.
stick their foot out
Yeah.
for
I
somebody.
say it's one story, one person that can change your life forever. And at
Yes.
that moment, I can imagine that you appreciated that so much that you continue to fight from that day on, even
Yeah.
more. It's like, damn, someone's seen something in me.
Yeah.
Like I
And
appreciated that, whether you
and
work
when
with
I
her
get
3 weeks or
in
not.
that position, that's another stepping stone. I went
Yeah.
from down to just being a front desk person, medical assistant, and I gradually started moving my way up. Once I became manager, I already knew that it was gonna be Scott, because when I first um was hired into that clinic, they only
Mhm.
had 300 and something clients at that particular facility. When I left, they had 700 and something clients, because I was pulling from 12 different
Wow.
counties and trying to find, because they were going off, they didn't know that they were there.
Yeah.
So I feel like I did my due diligence. It was time
You
for me to
did.
go.
Yeah, yeah, you did. Yeah, no, for sure. At some point, you have to cap yourself, understand how far you need to go somewhere. And I've done that in any company. If I was like, you know what, I'm giving myself 2 years. If I can't get here, I gotta go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even recently, when I was in the airline industry, I gave myself 2 years, and kind of to what you were saying, I applied. I said, you know what? I love facilitating, but I want to take it a step further because
Mm-hmm.
I was getting bored. And one of the thing about me is like, don't allow me to get bored.
Mm-hmm.
Because once I get bored, I get frustrated. I need a challenge. I love challenges. And, I applied and same thing. Wouldn't even get an interview. Like, wouldn't even get a response of why couldn't I even get an interview? Like, I am, as you mentioned, I am top of the line type stuff. And whatever, life happened, and I decided to leave the aviation industry after all these years and really bet on myself. And I think one of the hardest things, but also one of the most rewarding things to know that you can do things on your own. And
Mm-hmm.
all those people that told you no or shut the doors on you, that you're sitting here now opening doors for other people, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
giving other people opportunities. How cool is that? And I think every time someone told you no, or all the times if something was happening that just wasn't aligning, that it was really fueling you to be who you are today, right? I think all those moments that we've experienced, as you mentioned, is part of the journey. It is, because it allows us to be who we are today. It allows us to have all the education that we've had today to be able to do what we do. And you just touching the surface. Like you just mentioned, grand opening was September of last year, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you just hit a year. Like what does it look like for another year? Like all this growth in a year, like damn, this is cool. What does it look like if I do
And
this
I
again for
have
another
that.
year?
I sit and say to myself, and it's so funny you said, I'm like, I never would have thought that I would be in this position right here, right now, in just this year span, with all of the stuff that I went through, with all the trials and tribulations that I went through. It was, and I kept decided to keep going. How I have elevated in just 1 year. When some
Hmm.
companies, it takes them 4 or 5 years to get to where it, a third of where they want to be.
Yeah.
But that's what sets me apart, I think, from a lot of different ABA centers, because I do extend myself outside of just providing the ABA services.
Mm.
I'm actually helping. I actually want to advocate for the families that are on the spectrum. I'm actually trying to put myself out there to let them know that there are other resources out here for you to get out there. I'm working on a project right now called Bridging the Gap. And the project is the school systems, the public school systems, and collaborating with ABA services, because they would not allow it.
Wow.
However, when those kids have these behavioral issues inside the school, you're ready to kick them out. So why can't we collaborate to make that child the best child that they can be by providing those academic and those
Mhm.
behavioral support. That's
You,
been a big
you,
struggle.
you said you're talking about how you're different from everybody, and that's really what sets you apart is that you have the passion and purpose for it. It was never about the paycheck.
Yes.
Like I always say that, right? You never chasing the money about it. It was
No.
always having a passion and purpose for helping others. And when you got into this space, the passion and purpose even fueled more because you realize, like, wait a minute, that these people are considered disabled, but they're able, right? You mentioned that. That was your word,
No, my
and I
they're
believe it.
not disabled. They're differently abled.
Differently able. Okay, so you got the words got all right.
They're
No, I
differently
appreciate it.
able.
Differently able. No, and I truly love it. I love that just talking to you for the first time and even today a little bit more is there's such a passion for the work that you do and you just getting started. And I love it. If I can ask you though, as we start to wrap up, what do you tell the woman who knows that she's meant for more, but she's still waiting for someone to validate her?
Well, first of all, don't never second guess yourself. If you feel like you have a purpose in something, go for it. Don't let anything hinder you. My number one question I always ask: what is stopping you? What is stopping you? Because I will never let anything stop me. Like I'm going to find a way. I'm going to, if I don't have the answer for something, I'm going to go and find it. I don't care if it's through, if I have to research it myself, if I come across somebody who is experiencing the same things that I have, like I'm going to find a way. Because if you really really
Hmm.
want something, you're going to find a way to get to that. If it's really your purpose, you're going to find a way to get to that. Don't let nothing stop you. Don't let nothing hinder you. If that is what is set for you, it's going to be for you. Now, everything, sometimes what we're set out to do is not for us.
Yep.
If that doesn't work out for you, try something else. Like there's always something out there for people to do. It's so much room out in this world for us to have our own and not depend on others and work for others and give to others and in that business aspect, way. Get out and do it. Do it. Just do it.
Okay. Well, I'll leave you this blind question. All right. There's a last question. To wrap up. What part of your journey are you still healing from, but pretend you've already moved on?
Um,
Got to get you thinking. So a lot of times we say we healed, that we're good, and
I
there's some
think the
times that
only thing that really
okay.
bothers me is going through that first that part I was talking about. Having people think that they're actually on the same have the same mindset, you have the same goals as you, but actually using you for
Okay.
their
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
gain. Um, and thought that by you doing what you did, it was going to dim me and that I was just
Yeah.
going to pull back. Meanwhile, Tamakio kept it moving. And now I'm up here now, and you're gonna be sitting here watching me on TV
Yeah. Yeah.
somewhere
There you
when you could have
go.
been standing beside me, you
Yeah.
tried to play in my face. So I think that's
I
the
love
only
it.
part that kind of really bothers me. Like
Yeah.
people will pretend like they are genuinely helping you, but in the back of their mind, they're really not. They're
Yeah.
really not.
Yeah. Yeah. They take your kindness for weakness.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that happens quite often.
Yeah.
But it happens in life. I'm still moving forward with what I plan to do and with my business plan. I'm still trying to grow even more. So I I don't let it hinder me from what I'm doing, but it is still
Hmm.
bothersome because
I hear you.
those are people who you felt kind of
You
shared the
trusted. Yeah.
same passion because of them experiencing it hands on with someone in their
Yeah.
household, but
Nah, I hear you. I've experienced some of those as well, so I can completely relate to what you're talking about. But before we wrap up, what can people find you? Are you on social media? What is the website?
I am on social media. I have on Facebook, Jewel ABA Therapy LLC. Also LinkedIn, you can find me Tamakio Patterson. My website is Jewel ABA Therapy LLC.com. Um, and you can simple Google me. I'm all over Google. Hey, Google
Let's
Tamakio
go.
Patterson. It's gonna pop up. You'll see me. I'm going to be seen one
I
way
love
or
you.
another. So
You're
yeah,
too
Google my
funny.
name.
Tamakio, I thank you so much for your time, for being so transparent, honest, real, authentically yourself more than anything, and that's what allowed you to really win. I think so many times people try to put on this mask and don't realize people do business with people, and when you're authentically yourself, people can read that, and when
Yes.
you're fake, people can read right through that as well. So,
Yes.
Tamakio, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for what you're doing in the community, where people sometimes don't kind of turn a blind eye because they don't know much about it, but you're making sure the world knows about it. And as you mentioned, the world's going to know who you are, and they already do, right? So, Tamakio, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you for
I'm
having
Efrain.
me.
Yes, of course. I'm Efrain. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Later.